Okay, so again, welcome to Bezop 2. This is a chance for everybody that bought into the ICO. It's a chance for you to come in, meet some of the players, ask the questions that you have to ask. We will try to be as transparent as possible in answering any question that you have. Other than that, we'll get going here. So just a quick round of introductions for those that weren't on Bezop 2. I'm Derek Jones, CTO. We've got Kevin Byrne with us. Kevin, you're coming live from
Ireland.
From Ireland, there we go. Bruce Levine, he's coming live from
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, and of course we've got Blaze Ubaugh. So this is the group that has kind of been helping to steer through the ICO. We've got one other person, actually two other people that are critical that are not here, and hopefully one of them was planned, the other one was not. Hopefully Keith Offlet will be able to join us sometime during the course of this webinar. Keith Offlet is, just to give you a quick background on him, he goes back all the way to the days of Lotus Notes. He was one of the original employees there. When they were acquired by IBM, he went over to IBM, was a senior director at IBM, running one of their larger data center operations, and then he took his golden parachute and turned into a serial entrepreneur. If you've ever been to Dubai and seen that really large building that's shaped like a sail, he was pivotal in that build. His company has one of his companies. He's got a number of companies. One of them is called VBL, which was responsible for that. So very talented guy, and he's going to be a big help. And of course, the other person that's not here is John McAfee. And as most of you know, John signed on officially as a advisor with us. He's an investor with us. In fact, Blaze, you and I are having a talk with him later today, isn't that right?
Of course, yeah.
Yep. So that's going to be a huge help for us. And as most of you know, or probably experienced, we were ticking along with the ICO, and we were moving at not the greatest pace when we first got started. I mean, we were coming up close to the small cap. And then, of course, completely unannounced and unexpected, John McAfee decided to endorse us, decided to name us as the ICO of the week, and all hell broke loose. And quite frankly, going from thousands of users a day to literally hundreds of thousands of users overnight, there's just no way that you can properly plan for that. But we did the best we could. We managed to navigate through it, and I'll let Blaze at some point give a kind of recap of where we ended up. But it's been an unbelievable couple of weeks. And so we're thrilled to be here. We're thrilled that you're with us. And with that, I'm going to shut up. And this is your show. So feel free to ask any question that you have. What I'll do is when you post the question, I'll read it off so that everybody can hear it. And then one of the guys will answer. So with that, who would like to start off? Who's got a question for us? Okay, first one I see in the list is, I know you said no panic, but what happened that forced us all to change passwords? So Blaze, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can take that. Well, of course, if you're using a system, you should actually change your passwords every now and then. So whether you change your password a few times or 10 times, it's always for your own good, right? It's always for your own good, for your own security.
Okay, but I think she was a little bit concerned about why we were suddenly panic putting that out there, and of course one of the things.
The reason why we wanted people to change their password is for their own security, so to make sure that account remains secure. That's the reason.
Okay.
Yeah. Every few months, large companies make you request or to change your password or update it, so it's always kept up to date. So it's quite good to do it that way.
Yeah, and just because I know where this kind of question is going to, because I've been answering them for the past week. one of the things that happened, of course, was when we put that request out there, we had something like 26,000 users suddenly jump on and try to change their password. And they didn't just, you have to keep in mind, when you change your password, when you put in the request, you can't put in multiple requests, because what happens is they cache. So every time you put a request in, basically it's pooling in the system. And if you've got 26,000 roughly people all doing that, and some, and a little bit of a panic sets in, I would imagine. So people are putting constant requests in. It really did a number on the mail services at Amazon. But that ultimately it settled out, and everything should be fine now. All right, so the next question is, never used Zoom before, so it seems to be a one-way chat. Can't see what other people write. Yeah, sorry. Actually, this is the environment that Zoom provides. It's basically a webinar type environment where we can present, we can have a conversation amongst the panelists that you get an opportunity to hear. You can post your questions. I think on your end at the bottom, you may have either the Q&A button or the chat button that you can open up so you can actually see the questions. So give that a try, because I'm pretty sure you should be able to see the questions at least. You won't be able to hear them, but you'll be able to see them. Okay, so the next question, is it true that you sent out user passwords in plain text emails, i.e. stored the passwords in plain text in the database? The bottom line is that they're encrypted end to end. So it's not, there's nothing on our servers that's not encrypted and not protected in multiple ways. Okay, Pamela Wilson asked, hey Derek, asking about exchanges. I guess it's still not announced yet. Also, can I download and build from GitHub? And does the readme.com have steps to build? Okay, on the exchanges, we're actually having a meeting today. And more than likely the announcement will come out probably in about 5 or 6 days. But we're having a meeting today with John McAfee, and we're sorting out the exchange question. So stay tuned, that will get posted. In terms of GitHub, yes, I mean, obviously the code, that's where the code is posted. Blaze, any comments about the, because you manage that, any comments on the code posted at GitHub?
Okay, the codes are pretty nice, so you can host it. You can run a Git clone and host it on your own servers and run it.
Pamela, does that answer your question? Hi, your roadmap states that you will be listed on exchanges by the 20th of January. Can you please advise what exchanges you will be listed on? We can't tell you which exchange. Oh, go ahead, Blaze.
Okay, so we are in contact with KU Coin and HitBTC, right? So we've already done some applications with them. So I think in about 7 days, we should hear back from them. And as well, we have John also very willing to get us on some big exchanges, and that's what the call we're gonna have is all about. So that's the updates.
So we're working with John to get on some of the bigger exchanges, and so we are having a meeting with him today to get that. And actually, he's the one that kind of brought that forward. So that's a good thing. Okay, so Pamela's question was answered. John's question was answered. Okay, let's see who else we got. Oh, how can I get a list of valid Ether wallets that can be used? They're actually, if you go on the website, you go down towards the bottom, there's a section that says it's like a frequently asked question, and there's a list of some wallets there. The one thing I'll tell you from all the questions I've been getting for the last couple of weeks on this, for example, if you've got my Ether wallet, what you have to do is you have to go in and you have to set up a custom token in order for your Bezos to show. So when you're looking at the wallets that you want to use, you want to make sure that first off, they're compliant, and second off, that you've got a way, like with my Ether wallet, to set up for a custom token. And that's really what it's ERC20 compliant, and it's the ability to set up a custom token so you can see it. Okay. What do you think about the price on the exchange? I don't know. Anybody, when you guys have a thought about where that price is going to settle down?
Well, I think the price on exchanges, it's still going to be decided by what people are willing to sell at, right? Yeah, but I can just give you a hint of what is going to start at, because we will have to burn about 30 million tokens, unsold tokens. So the starting price would be just the current tokens in circulation divided by the market cap, and we pretty much sold out. So I think it should be a great startup. Yeah.
Okay, so did everybody get that? And keep in mind that the valuation is driven by the market. So
yeah, it's purely by the market. It's what people are willing to sell at. That's the valuation.
Now, the thing that our job on our side is to do the best job possible in terms of sticking to our schedule, producing what it is that we said we were going to produce. Produce an e-commerce system that is a real draw in the market. It's basically sticking to our plan and delivering on schedule, and that's what we're going to be doing. Because the stronger the belief in the marketplace in terms of us and in terms of what we're doing, the higher that value is going to be driven. And as various events take place, for example, I can picture a point in the not too distant future where a merchant is going to actually build their e-commerce system. They're going to build it on our platform, and we're going to have an actual exchange of value. And when that happens, and it happens successfully, the market's going to go nuts, because that's what we're here for. And I can tell you, everybody that I've talked to, really sees the value in what we're doing, and they really see the value in terms of coming out with a platform that can kind of cut the legs off the middleman, bring the cost down, and drive up the value in terms of the services that we provide. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And like I said, the more successful we are in doing that, the higher the value is going to go. And every single person that's sitting here right now has got a strong vested interest in the success of this thing.
Exactly.
Huh?
Exactly. We have a very powerful team behind us that can push this forward with all the people in the right places. So, and the experience as well, of course. So we're absolutely, this is going to explode.
Yep. Okay.
So I want to add something here, right?
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's nice that people wanted to hit the exchanges, right? But the whole point of an ICO is to actually develop a product that can better the world, that can change how things are done. So that's the whole point of the ICO. But maybe some people, their motivation towards investing in cryptocurrency is just to come to exchanges and dump and get some more money. But while that's nice that you make some money, but the purpose of the project is to develop the product itself and actually take the world in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something more and a lot more powerful behind this ICO.
There's
the product itself.
Listing on exchanges and selling tokens and buying tokens.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I will remind everybody, and think about it this way. I bought my first Bitcoin back in about 2011, I think it was. Now, picture yourself right now, you've gotten through the ICO, you've bought your Bezops, and now you go to the exchange and you pull it out. Well, if I had done that with my Bitcoin in 2011, I wouldn't be sitting with a smile on my face today. And it's all going to come down, like I said, like we said, to the value that we're able to drive into the market in terms of this product. How successful we can be in terms of getting merchants to adopt the product, how effective we can be in terms of delivering a product that's really going to make it simple for merchants to be able to sell their wares and do all of this on blockchain. And that's what we're about, and that's what we're after. At any point, do you think you would be positioned for a buyout, or is that too difficult to predict? Well, I'll answer that question this way. Whenever you start any business, one of the first things that you should be doing always is thinking about your exit strategy. And the reason is not because you want to get out, but it's because your exit strategy defines how you conduct your business. So for example, if my exit strategy is to get acquired by Salesforce.com or Coinbase or whatever, then it's going to change how I operate in the business. If my exit strategy is to basically keep this going so that my kids can inherit, my stake in the business and move forward, that defines a different approach. So your approach, your exit strategy is very important when you're setting up and planning a business. Now, can we, predict whether or not we're going to have a buyout? To be honest with you, I'm not even thinking about it. We got so much work to do in front of us in terms of building this product that is, I know on my side, that is, my almost sole and exclusive focus is what do we got to do to get this product built and get it into the marketplace and getting merchants actually using it so that we can actually build a global e-commerce system that can rival that of Amazon. Okay, next question. Any idea on what currencies you're going to support on the platform? What will be the advantage of using Bezop coin for payment? Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna take that.
Sure.
Okay. So, yeah, what we are working towards is to make it a little bit broad. It's not just gonna be Bezops. So we can take multiple cryptocurrencies and have some atomic swap and to change Bezop, to change any currency into Bezop back and forth, right? So you can start seeing most of these stuffs as we mature, because I think it's right now we should just start off with Bezop, but then as time goes on, we should start seeing multiple currencies buying stuff on Bezop store, and once they pay on Bezop store, it will get converted into Bezop. Thereby, at least I think it should as well increase the value of Bezop on exchanges and something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Any more questions? We're here for you guys. We're not going anywhere. So we're here to answer any questions you got. So please take advantage of it and put them up. While you're thinking about your next question, I will tell you that we'll be back again. I mean, this is not going to be the last time we do this. As we move along with the product, as we get to different stages, we'll be coming back to talk with you again and to answer many questions you have at that point. The thing I would urge is now that you've gotten your Bezops, I would urge that you hold on to them and basically go for the ride, because this team is going to be working its butt off to produce an incredible product and get it into the marketplace. And I'll share a discussion I had just the other day with a young kid. In fact, Blaze, you and I talked about it a little bit. This is a kid in Turkey. His family owns apparently some type of a hazelnut, I don't know if you call it plantation or what, but his vision is to be able to have a global e-commerce business selling his hazelnuts around the world and doing it on Bezop and on our network. So, sit back and picture that for a second. Here's a young kid in college, and his vision is to take his family with their hazelnuts. They've been apparently battling and struggling and paying out the nose with Amazon. And he so totally believes in what we're doing. He's basically, biting his lip, waiting to get going to be able to sell his hazelnuts. So just picture that at some point where we've got merchants that are cutting out the middleman, going directly to the market with their products, and being able to, safely transact using the smart contract and getting their products out. It just gives me chills. I mean, I think about it, and I think compared to the way things have been done, it's so much better. Let's see, we have, go ahead, Kevin.
This is the future, and we've got first mover advantage.
That's right.
We'll be many features as we move along. So, no, hold tight and take in for the long haul.
Right. So we have another question here, and I guess either Blaze or I could answer this. It's how many developers and QA people do you have, and are they co-located in any region? I can tell you that it doesn't matter. Oh, go ahead, Blaze.
Okay, so the truth is that we can get as many developers as we want now because we've hit our hard cap. So that should never be any worry at all. We can get 200 developers because we are like dedicated to get this done.
Blaze, you took the words right out of my mouth because I was just sitting back and thinking. I mean, that's one of the purposes of this whole exercise, right? What I will tell you is that I have developed. I mean, I have managed development teams with literally hundreds of developers spread all over the world. I've managed projects that have had literally thousands of lines of code. So, right now what's happened is thanks to all of you, you have removed the barrier for us in terms of what it is that we're going to be able to do from a development standpoint. Because now we can afford to expand out from where we're at in a dramatic way, and we can afford, the best part is we can now afford some of the best talent in the world to be able to bring on our team. So you can't get much better. Hey, Keith, welcome.
Hey, Keith.
Everybody, this is Keith Offlet. Glad you could be here. I'm assuming something not good happened, but welcome. We're glad you're here. So hopefully, Pamela, that helps to answer your question. Yes, they probably will be co-located, and yes, you're going to see kind of a dramatic uptick once we get past where we're at right now. Now, it's basically getting the ICOs closed, getting everything settled, making sure all the transactions are settled properly, making sure, for example, the fact that we stepped up to help those people that purchased using ETH with through an exchange is pretty incredible. So we've got a couple of weeks of cleanup work, I'll put it that way, of settling the things left over from the closure of the ICO. Once that's done, then you're going to see basically an expansion, because at that point, if the focus then completely turns towards the product, and away we go. So we got another question here, and this is from John Stewart. And John asks, will the platform be able to switch between fiat currency and Bezop in real time?
All right. Can I answer that? Okay. So, well, as I said, someone asked that earlier. As I said, what we are trying to do now is, for now, we want to start off with Bezops, right? And as we expand, as we hit our own network, because like right now we're just on Ethereum's network, but we want to have our own network, our own EVMs, and our own systems, right? And once we have that, we don't have any issues with working on, no matter how complex it is, flipping between fiat currency and crypto and all whatnot. We can do all that. It's not a problem. So.
Okay, well now they're warming up, guys. This is awesome. Okay, so we have a question from Philippe, and Philippe's question is, maybe this has been answered before. Can you explain how to use the platform as a merchant? Do you need to sign up somewhere with a central server? Is there a verification process? Who would like to get started with that one?
Okay, so anyone or just me?
Well, I'll start. Maybe you can pick up from there. I'll start with this. The one thing I've discovered through this ICO is not a lot of people have read the white paper or the yellow paper. Now, the yellow paper gets pretty technical, but the white paper is fairly readable. So I would urge that you read those two papers, because that really digs into a lot of this. But with that, Blaze, take the rest of it.
This question is answered in over 50 pages, so I would personally want Philip to go and just read the paper, right? I would want him to read the paper. He's going to have a lot of fun with it.
I mean, the way I'll answer it also for you, Philippe, is, and I'm going to use the example of the kid that I talked to the other day that I just talked about. He's a young guy. He's got a hazelnut farm. He wants to get his hazelnuts out. So on his end, he's going to have to market his product and market it effectively in the markets that he wants to be in. And basically, he's going to load the platform with his product, just like you would with any other e-commerce. The only difference, and it's a major one, is the fact that this is built on blockchain natively. So that means that the people that are going to be purchasing his product are going to be paying with Bezops. And ultimately, you know, as Blaze said earlier, with other types of currencies. This is not, there's no magic here. You know, as Blaze said, it's well laid out in the white paper and the yellow paper. But it's an e-commerce system, and the transaction's going to happen with cryptocurrencies.
Okay, so one of the reasons why, one of the things that Bezop achieves is it tries to replace the main components of e-commerce with blockchain equivalent. So you have to understand it this way: we're not trying to host everyone's store on the blockchain. It would actually be stupid to do that. But we are trying to host products, we are trying to host processes, we are trying to host contracts on the blockchain. You understand? So you can host the shell of your store anywhere, that doesn't matter about it. But how the process your store goes through, the order placement, the order processing, the delivery, the dispute process, it's all going to be handled from the blockchain or from Bezop network.
Yeah.
All right. The next question is, how fast will the transactions be?
Okay, with stuff like Lightning networks nowadays, so I think it's going to be super fast. We've already solved that problem on the blockchain. So,
question, how do you plan to test the platform?
We have a software company for the last 10 years with over 100,000 customers, and Blaze is also in the same shoes. So we can, we'll be recommending this platform to our 100,000 database of customers who will be able to test it and report back with any bugs that need to be solved. So on top of that, we also have the best programmers in the world on our team for the last 10 years of developing software. So we're in a good place.
And I think that was let's see, who answered that question? Armando. Armando, I'll answer it this way. I've been in software development for over 40 years, and I've led some very, very large teams. And I can promise you that we will go through formal methods and have formal control over the whole process so that we deliver a high quality product to the marketplace. But you have to look at the growth and the transitions we have to go through as a team, because I've built multiple companies, and there are levels that you go through as you grow. And there's some levels that are a real test. But the reality is that you have now funded us and enabled us to do this the way it should be done. And so I don't think you need to worry about the testing, because we will formally test the platform before we put it out there. What is your plan beyond the benefits of the product to encourage merchants to get involved? What will inspire them to try the system? Kevin, I think that's your question.
Well, e-commerce is huge, and it's growing rapidly every year. And one of the main problems at the moment is the price, the cost, and Amazon is charging a fortune. When we offer the system, it'll be vastly cheaper. And just by doing that alone, offering a system that is as powerful as Amazon, people will just jump over it because the fees are heavily reduced on top of the amazing features we're bringing in. So, it's going to be able to, it'll enable others to advertise heavily on Facebook as well, because they'll have more funds available instead of spending it on or being charged higher bills with the other e-com softwares that are out there. So, yeah. And just to go back to the question there about how we get merchants involved, we also, we know how Facebook works in terms of advertising. We've developed systems and can basically get access to every single e-commerce individual in the world and market to those directly. offering our features. So, we're quite good in the advertising side of things.
We're slowing people down. All right, come on, guys. There we go. I feel more confident about the product now that I know you have an Irish lad on board. Good job.
Thanks for that.
And he probably won't be the last either. Okay, any more? Let's see. Nothing on this side, anything on this side. Okay, I don't see any more questions coming through yet. Any comments, guys, while we've got a lull in the questions? Hey, to kind of segue for a second, because I'm going to draw in some of our advisory talent here. Bruce, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second, because we had a discussion the other day about the transfer of tokens, and there's been a major change in the law. You want to talk about that for a second, in terms of what happens when you go from Bitcoin to Ether or something along those lines?
Yeah, well, the U.S. tax law changed, and in the past, prior to 2018, there were some people that would switch in and out of Bitcoin. So they would basically swap their Bitcoin for Ethereum and back and forth, and that, some people were claiming was a like-kind exchange of property that didn't create a tax event, because normally if you sell any property or exchange any property, it creates a tax event to the extent that you paid one price for it. Say you paid $1 for it and you sell it for $3, you've got a gain that you have to report. Well, they were saying that this was not a situation that would trigger a taxable event. Well, with the latest tax law change, which just occurred in December, the provision of the Internal Revenue Code, which is 1031, it's the like-kind exchange rules, were modified to exclude the term property from the code. So essentially now, the only thing that a like-kind exchange can apply to is a real estate transaction. So it's uncertain as to how people are reporting, and I know that the IRS in the United States is targeting Coinbase and some of these others for people perhaps who are not reporting their transactions, and this could be a further problem down the road as things develop.
So theoretically, in the U.S., if I have Ethereum and I make a choice to jump, to trade over to a certain amount of Bitcoin because I want to take advantage of the price lift, that's actually a taxable event now.
That's what the basis of knowledge is, because of that removal of the word property from the like-kind exchange rules.
Okay.
And the IRS might even take a different approach as to transactions in the past. They might make an argument, although it hasn't been litigated, to my knowledge, that when you swap in and out of Bitcoin to Ethereum or other cryptocurrencies, that those were taxable events all along because they didn't qualify as like-kind exchanges. But
right now, we've got, because of the discussion, Henri and a couple of others have asked, does this law apply only to the U.S. citizens? The answer I know is yes, but my question then to you, Bruce, are you aware, at least at this point, of any other governmental bodies, the UK, France, whatever, that are either following suit or already positioned that way?
Well, again, that provision is unique to the Internal Revenue Code in the United States. So, other tax laws apply to different jurisdictions, and really, you have to talk to your own, tax advisor in your country of jurisdiction.
Yeah, we're not providing tax advice here, guys, but yes, this is only applying to the U.S. And in all cases, when you're dealing with anything financial or legal, talk to your own CPA, talk to your own attorney. But that's kind of the reality of it for the U.S.
Yeah, well, you may want to, in your own country, look to see what the tax laws are. And I mean, there's a lot of people who are under the misimpression that, they're swapping in and out of something that isn't regulated. So therefore, who's going to know about it? I've had people, attempt to pay alimony in Bitcoin. And because Bitcoin is not a U.S. currency, it's non-deductible because it's not paid in U.S. dollars.
Right.
So, there's a lot of little nuances. And I know that, when the U.S. went after the Swiss banks for bank privacy to get those transactions, they're targeting places like Coinbase to go after and do the same type of analysis. Another example is people using offshore banks. The IRS subpoenaed a bunch of DHL shipping documents where the bank statements from the offshore banks were being sent to the account holders in the U.S. and they just wanted a list of all the names of the people, so they subpoenaed all the shipping documents.
Yeah, this Bruce. Now that we've warmed you up, because we got another question from the group, or statement basically saying they will have a hard time regulating decentralized exchanges. Guys, this is why we got Bruce on the team, because Bruce is not only a CPA and a tax expert, but he's also an attorney. And so, for us, having that kind of advice when you're in this kind of world is invaluable. But Bruce, would you say that that's a fair statement that they will have?
That's a fair statement right now, and I think the IRS is identifying that that's an area of concern for them as people gravitate toward e-commerce and cryptocurrencies. Another example is like Airbnbs. A lot of people are under the impression that they rent a room in their apartment and it's not taxable, and it clearly is under the Internal Revenue Code, but it's not, easily regulated from that perspective.
Right.
As things are.
Yeah. So Philippe goes on to say this is going to be a problem in other countries too. I don't know if any large countries actually accept cryptocurrencies as currency. Bruce, I'm sure you can provide better comments on that than I can. But the one thing my impression, and this is just an impression, and this is from listening and watching the news and reading pretty exhaustively, especially of late in this area. The one thing that I've seen time and time again, there are trillions of dollars now in cryptocurrencies. Nothing catches a governmental institution more than dollars, or whatever currency happens to be being played in. And I'll give you an example. I had a financial services company about 10 years ago in Vegas. And we had a gentleman that was working for us that ran one of the largest, in fact, at the time, it was the largest call center operation in the world. The guy was making millions of dollars per day from his call center. What ended up happening with him is that when he first started, he didn't garner any attention at all. But then as he got bigger and bigger and he started buying properties and adding houses and stuff overseas and blah, 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 what ended up happening is that initially the FTC stepped in. That's a governmental body in the US. The long and short of it was that he had gotten so big that he got the attention of governmental agencies in the US that you don't want to catch their attention. And the end of it was that he lost everything. And not only did he lose everything, but they came in and they basically said, if you ever practice in this field again, we're going to throw you in jail. And so he's out of call center business. He can't do it. So because cryptocurrencies are up, have grown so large, I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very difficult for them to regulate, but they're going to be sure trying to figure out a way to do it. I can promise you that.
Yeah, I think Japan has accepted Bitcoin as a currency at the moment.
Oh, Japan has?
As far as I know, yeah. I could be wrong, but as far as I know, it has.
I got to start figuring out what I can buy from Japan. That's cool.
And you also have Estonia trying to do something like that.
No, that's cool. Okay. Let me see if we have any more questions. Let's see. And on that side, this side, no, not yet. The only thing no, that's it. Any more questions, guys? We're here for you, and we won't leave until you're done with your questions. So just let us know if you think you've gotten all your questions answered. There's two things that I want to come away with from this call. One is that you get all your questions answered. The second thing is that I want you to walk away from this recognizing that there is a serious group of people that are sitting behind this thing, getting ready to take this to the stars. I mean, we're dead serious. We plan on building one hell of a product. And thanks to you, we're on the road to doing that. It is going to be a fun ride. There are a few times in life when you get an opportunity like this. And so when I was asked to come on board, I jumped on it because, you just don't get chances like this very often. And despite having been in business for over 40 years, I looked at this and I said, this thing is going to go, this is going to go through the roof. And so far it has. Guys, any comments for you?
No, I think it's an exciting start to a much bigger thing. And like you say, it's just a matter of, this is the beginning. And it's only going to grow from here.
Yep. Then one last question we just received. It's from Pamela, and Pamela said, just asking when is the next webinar? I think what we'll do, at least for now, is as we get to kind of critical pivot points in the process, we'll hold a webinar. In between that time, if we get a sense that there is a need for us to do a webinar, then we'll do one in between. But we'll kind of target critical pivot points in terms of the whole development process, and then just backfill if there are mounting questions. We got another question. Could I know which exchanges you are negotiating to be listed in? I know we kind of covered that earlier, but what I'll tell you is this: we have a meeting today with John McAfee to specifically go over exchanges. We are in active negotiations with two of them already, and the original plan was to announce sometime around the 20th to the 23rd. And so my expectation is that we'll actually announce before that. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, any more questions, guys? We've been on here for an hour with you. We're happy to stay on longer if you've got more questions.
So okay. Could I know which exchanges you are negotiating? Okay, we are negotiating with JUCoin and HitBTC.
Right, and as we said, we're having a meeting today with John McAfee to review that and probably expand it to some of the bigger ones. Any other questions, folks? All right. Assuming that there are no more questions, if there's one that pops up while I'm wrapping things up, I'll certainly bring it up. All I want to say is I want to thank everybody that did participate for coming in and participating. Oh, here we go. I really want to get on this and give the platform a shot. But working this out with authorities, taxes, seems to be hell, since they will regard transfers as swapping goods instead of accepting Bezop as currency. I'll let Bruce answer that, but I don't think, first off, I don't think you have a serious worry there. Quite frankly, it's not targeting Bezops. It's basically in the U.S. only, looking at like-kind exchanges, quite frankly, whether you're going from Bitcoin to Ethereum. So take Bezops completely out of the equation. Take us completely out of the equation. In the U.S., they're looking at like-kind of exchanges. The reality is that this market is, with it as decentralized as it is, and with as many opportunities within it as there are, it is going to be years before any government's really going to be able to sort this thing out and figure out what it is that they want to do. I mean, that's my impression. Bruce, you may have a different one as an attorney, but I don't think you have anything, Philippe, I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Yeah, I think it's unclear at this time. I think it's going to develop further. There are, issues and unanswered questions that I have, but I think there's such a migration toward cryptocurrencies that there has to be some type of ruling or case that comes out to define this further. And I think.
Yeah, but yeah.
Go ahead, Blaze.
Okay, should I also add that Bezop has a proof called proof of tax? So mathematically, we allow a merchant to be able to charge VAT for goods and services, and even automatically separate that VAT to 2 different addresses. So you don't have to actually spend the money for your VAT, right? So
yeah, Blaze, that's actually brilliant because I don't know if I can't think of any. Do you know of any others out there that are dealing with tax in this way?
Not to my knowledge.
There's not. I mean,
this is just a consequence of a change in the law, which was just trying to limit, because the like-kind exchange rules were used to swap art, antique cars, all these other pieces of property. And I think this may just be kind of a consequence of a change that they were trying to target something else. And they may, in fact, modify that if it becomes a real issue.
The thing I want to point out, guys, is, hey, we're leading the way here. We're leading the way because, we are recognizing with proof of tax. So we're giving the merchants an opportunity. We've recognized it, and we're giving the merchants an opportunity to be able to properly deal with the tax issues. So rather than wanting to, rather than worrying and getting out, I would be getting in with us because we're dealing with these things up front and before anybody else.
Yeah, because one thing about Bezop is we know that these issues would arrive. Yes, and with a guy like Bruce, we have insights on what is to come, what is going to come. So that's why in the core of Bezop, tax is calculated. Everything is already done for you, right? So you have every other cryptocurrency that actually pushing that you don't pay tax, but you have Bezop trying to solve that problem for you as well. So, yeah.
All right. Any more questions? This has been great. Getting into some great areas. So, like I said, and again, I'll cut away if there's another question that comes through. But for me personally, the objective out of this was, one, like I said earlier, to answer all of your questions, but two, to really solidify the knowledge that you have in terms of the commitment of this team and the commitment to the project and the cause. And we're here for the long run. We're not going to be here and gone. We're here for the long run to build this product, get it in the marketplace, and dominate. That's what this is about. And so you've signed up with a great opportunity, and with your help, we're going to get out there and we're going to do it. We did get one other question, which is, let's see. Oh, actually 3 questions. Any merchants already signed up? No, we're not there yet. Could you please choose the exchanges wisely to list the Bezop coin, as new coins faces big problems listing new coins on HIT-BTC? We're going to do the best job we possibly can, guys, and that's why we, like I said, we have a meeting today with John McAfee, we certainly don't, plan to bury our head in the sand. I mean, we're looking to do the best job we possibly can for our entire network. What is the expectation? What is the expected market cap in the exchanges such as HIT-BTC? Guys, you're just going to have to hold tight and let us get through the negotiations and let us see where we end up. And we will announce in probably sometime, but before the 20th or the 23rd. That's our target.
Yeah, but I can tell you that I think things are going to be good. At least we are one of those ICOs that sold out even in a very bad time, very bad periods of ICOs. A lot of scams are coming out every now and then, but we're one of those ICOs that sold out within 20 days. So I think that shows you a pattern of success already. And we also released our MVP exactly the time we were meant to release it. So I think it shows you guys that we actually do deliver on our word.
That's right. Okay, any more? All right, so what will happen is The next webinar we will announce, probably in a couple of weeks. Just so you know, what we're going to do right now is we're kind of going through the closing period from the ICO, reconciling all the transactions, dealing with whatever issues that a few people might have. We're taking care of those people that purchased incorrectly off the exchange. Even that should demonstrate something, I think, to you guys. The fact that we didn't let these people lose their money. We're actually working with them, and we're going to help them try to get that like value in terms of their Bezop. So we're here for the long haul. We appreciate your support, and just stay tuned for the next webinar. Guys, any closing comments from anybody? Kevin?
Yeah, so I would like to say that.
Blaze?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Blaze.
Okay, no, I'd just like to thank everybody for trusting us, and we're really looking forward to this. We're in a good place, and we have everything in line now. As everyone has invested into us, we can take this forward and continue. So we're in a good place, and just thanks once again.
Okay, Blaze.
Okay, so what I really want to tell everyone is that we have a very solid team behind this, and it's actually a team that is willing to bring every team member. At least we had kids here. We had almost everyone here. Everyone is willing to come forward and talk on video, on live video. I don't really think a lot of projects do things this way. It's all about transparency. We try to bring out who we are ourselves. People believe in us and understand us, right? So that's it. I think we have a solid team behind this, and we can actually hit our goals.
Okay. Bruce, any final comments?
No, I just think it's going to get interesting as now we start to build out this system. And I think it's just the beginning.
Yep. That's the heart of it. It's just the beginning. So, like I said, we're going to wrap up from the close of the ICO, and then we're going to basically tighten our belt and focus on the next step and grow this company. And we really appreciate your support, and we'll keep you posted as we go through continued webinars and video conference meetings. So with that, I guess we'll say goodbye to everybody. Thanks for participating, and we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce and Blaze. We'll catch you later.